Welcome to my channel. Today's practice is specifically designed for those who struggle with flexibility, maybe even believing that you need to be flexible in order to do yoga, where in reality, yoga is the best thing we could be doing to improve our flexibility. All you need for today is a few cushions and a chair, or even just the edge of a couch or a table would do. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's begin standing with the feet about shoulder distance apart. Some nice loose twist pivots, rotating through the spine nice and loose, alternating pivoting on each foot, starting with these dynamic stretches. Wake up the body, warm the muscles, keep the feet apart. Big hip circles, isolating the movement from the waist up. Releasing any tension through the sides of the spine, and reverse the direction, making the circles as large as you can. Alternating reaches over the head, keeping the feet pressed into the mat. Lifting and opening up through the rib cage. With these dynamic stretches, maybe we feel ourselves getting a little deeper, a little further into the stretch. Bring the feet back into neutral position. Standing nice and tall, arms to the side, deep breath in, reaching up. Exhale, extend the arms to the sides. Interlace either all the fingers or just one or two fingers behind the back side, opening up the chest and the shoulders. Release the arms, setting ourselves up for forward fold. Drop the chin, round the spine, hanging down. Place a generous bend in the knees as much as you need to. Gently grab opposite elbows for ragdoll pose and just swing back and forth, loosely hanging the head, releasing the neck, allowing gravity to pull the shoulders, the arms, the head down, relaxing the toes, allowing the hips to lightly lift away from the heels, bending the knees as much as you need to, and slowly rounding back up one vertebrae at a time. Generally, when people say they aren't flexible, they're referring to their hamstrings. Next, we have a side forward fold. Rotating from the waist up to your right, forward fold to the right, and then just skim across the front of the feet over to the left side. Stay to the left as you round up slowly, even adding a slight lean back if that feels good. Forward fold to the left, coming across the front of the feet, and rounding up. Repeating a couple of these, bending the knees as much as you need to. Try to keep the head and the neck relaxed so your gaze is toward your legs rather than the mat. Rounded spine, coming across the front of the feet, and slowly up, still facing your right. And back to center. Pause the video here if you need to go grab a chair or position yourself just right behind a couch or a table. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, folding forward at the hips. Bending the knees as much as you need to, placing the hands on the seat of the chair to allow us to experience the forward fold without feeling pressured to be able to reach the floor, or feeling as though we need to be touching our toes. Placing the hands or the elbows on the seat of the chair. Knees can be as bent as needed, or maybe start extending the legs, maybe lifting through the hips a bit more. And coming up onto the hands, bending the left knee and rotating the right arm open to the right, placing a nice stretch in the back of the right leg. Release the right hand back down. Place a bend in the right knee and rotate the left arm open to the left, bending the right elbow as much as needed to feel the stretch. And bring the hand back to the chair. Now take a step away from the chair, placing a nice generous bend in the knees and direct the hips back away from the shoulders, finding length in the spine for our downward facing dog. See if maybe you could straighten the legs a little bit more. Take a step to the right with each foot, directing the hips diagonally off to the right, feeling the stretch down the whole right side of the body. Come back to center. Now stepping both feet off to the left, just pointing the hips diagonally to the left corner and feeling a stretch down the whole left side. Come back to center, walk it back into the chair, and slowly round up. Giving the head a little break. Step back to down dog, generous bend in the knees, pressing the hips back, this time adding some movement in the hips, wagging our tail side to side, releasing through the spine, and then adding some alternating knee bends, encouraging movement through the hips, finding the length in the spine, bending the knees as needed, and then slowly walking back in toward the chair. Let's go ahead and take it all the way down onto the mat. Grab a few cushions and come onto the hands and knees, hands under the shoulders and knees aligned under the hips. Going into our cat-cow stretch. So inhale, lift the chest and hips. Exhale, rounding the spine into cat. Inhale, lifting to cow. Exhaling, cat, syncing the breath with the movement, finding that fluidity along the spine, maybe going a little further into the stretch with each breath. Go ahead and grab a small cushion and place it behind the knees. Bring the knees a little further apart and press the hips back toward the heels. This will make it much more comfortable if you struggle with getting the hips all the way to the heels in child's pose. Feel free to prop the head on a cushion or a folded blanket if that's more comfortable for you. You can have the arms reaching forward, or you can allow the arms to rest at your sides, palms facing up, for a more passive child's pose. Always take the time to breathe into your stretch, breathing in through the nose and out through the throat. This allows us to hold the stretch longer, which is a big part of increasing our flexibility. When you're ready, slowly ease out of your child's pose. You can set the cushion off to the side and go ahead and come all the way down onto the belly, propping up onto the elbows. Allow the legs to flop open about the width of your mat, relaxing in the legs, the hips, the glutes. If you're feeling too much stress in the back, being on the elbows, option is to double stack the fist and rest the chin right on top of the fist. Adding some rotation here, lifting the left elbow off the mat and rotating to the left. Look over the left shoulder, return the left elbow down, lifting the right elbow, rotation to the right, gazing over the shoulder. Slowly turning the head side to side if that feels good. Folding the arms and rest either the cheek or the forehead right onto your arms. Legs stay wide, bending the knees, and then just windshield wipering the lower legs inward. Maintaining some mobility throughout the hips as we feel a nice release on the lower back. Release the lower legs back to the mat and slowly press back up. Swinging the legs around to have a seat on your mat, and go ahead and grab a cushion, propping the hips up a little higher than the knees, especially if your hips are tight. Extending both legs, bringing the feet wide for a V shape, Moving into another dynamic stretch, the Pilates saw. Sitting upright, arms extended out to your sides. Rotate to the right, reaching the left arm toward the right foot. Come back to center. Exhaling, rotating left, reaching toward the left foot. Inhale, lifting tall. Exhale, reaching, always reaching to the opposite foot, gazing at the knee. Inhaling as you raise up. No worries for how close you're getting to the knee. As long as you're gazing at the knee, you're going in the right direction. Go ahead and bring the feet in for butterfly pose, bringing the soles of the feet together. Option is to keep the hips propped up on a cushion, or you can place a cushion under each knee. The knees will more than likely be popping up, and that's totally normal. Begin lifting through the chest as we lengthen the spine. And on the exhale, hinging forward from the hips, bringing the chest forward. Don't worry about bringing the nose down toward the feet. First, let's focus on lengthening through the spine and coming as forward as you can. And then when you feel ready, go ahead and round the spine more with a downward position, gazing at the feet. Begin extending the legs, just easing out of your butterfly pose, preparing for another forward fold. Keeping the knees as soft as you need to. Arms at the sides. Let's take a nice inhale, reaching the arms over the head. As you exhale, hinging forward from the hips, drawing the chest forward, staying lifted and lengthened through the spine. And let the arms rest to your sides. And once again, as you feel ready, go ahead and round the spine, gazing toward the knees. You'll feel a little bit more stretch on the lower back with the rounded spine. Possibly noticing that you're going a bit deeper into your forward fold. Gently ease out of your forward fold and lower all the way down onto your backside with the knees bent. Extending the right leg straight up, keeping the right knee as bent as you need to, and then reaching behind the right thigh, drawing the thigh toward the chest. You can always lift the chin toward the chest, raising the head. Another option is to flex the foot, as if you're pressing the heel toward the ceiling. Keep the knee as bent as you need to, but keep in mind that it's okay to be a little bit uncomfortable in the stretch. That's probably one of our biggest challenges when it comes to yoga and stretching, is to just allow ourselves to be uncomfortable with the sensation that our body feels in the stretch. Let's move into a hip stretch on the right side by resting the right foot onto the left thigh. Reach the arms out to the sides, palms pressing into the floor. And then allow the legs to drop all the way over to the left with the right knee pointing straight up toward the ceiling. This will target into the lower spine as well as the right hip. Go ahead and ease out of that. Return the right foot back to the mat. Now let's extend the left leg for another hamstring stretch. Remember, our biggest challenge is to allow ourselves to become uncomfortable with the sensation of the stretch. Gaining flexibility sometimes requires us to be comfortable with the feeling of being uncomfortable. Taking it further into the stretch by peeling the chin, the chest, the shoulder blades off the mat, gently hugging that left thigh closer toward the chest. Option of flexing the left foot, pushing the left heel toward the ceiling. Settling the left foot onto the right thigh for the stretch throughout the left outer hip. And then dropping the legs all the way over to the right, until your left foot meets the floor, pointing the left knee straight up. Feeling that stretch in the left hip, left lower spine. Pressing the arms and the shoulder blades into the floor. Even gazing over the shoulder. Ease back up, uncross the legs. Go ahead and give both knees a nice hug, rocking side to side. You can always cross at the ankles and grab a hold of the lower legs and the ankles while you're hugging. This gives the hips a little deeper stretch. Remember to switch sides. Enjoy the nice massage of the spine, rocking back and forth. Maybe bring the chin to the chest. Go ahead and rock it up to a seated position. You can prop the hips up on a cushion once again. And if you'd like, you can place a cushion under each knee. Let's take a little twist to the right, reaching left hand on the outer right knee, right arm behind your backside, gazing over the right shoulder. Release the right arm from behind and take a nice big dip to the left, reaching overhead. Releasing the arm back down. And now a twist to the left. Right hand on the left knee, left arm behind your backside. Gaze over the left shoulder. Release the left arm, reach overhead. Big side body stretch to your right. Ease the arm back to your side and go ahead and switch which leg you have crossed in the front. Let's bring the palms together for some shoulder stretches, interlacing all the fingers, pressing the palms forward, reaching overhead, bending side to side, opening up through the rib cage, finding that length in the spine one last time, extending the arms down to the sides. Thanks so much for joining me for this flexibility practice. Namaste. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel and feel free to like and share the video.